This is a podcast by WellHouse Church, where certain things are fixed, the essentials of faith, and the best beer is served on tap, while everything else is just a matter of perspective. What's going on, beer lovers?
What up?
How we doing? Here to talk about some beer and some theology.
Like always, every episode.
Every episode.
34 of them now.
34 of them. Wow, we've been doing this for a while now.
And we're 2 behind on P&P.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that's true because we're 36 on everything else.
36 on everything else and 34 on P&P. I don't know how it fell. I don't know. I think, I got COVID, and we got 1 episode behind, and then somehow in the last 6 months, we got another episode behind. I guess just because 5 unique pieces of content every week, it just caught up with me 1 week, and I just couldn't do it or something.
Somehow we got behind. I don't know. I don't actually fully remember, but no, somehow we did get behind. So we are doing something that if you're actually trying to drink beer and taste, you don't.
You shouldn't do. So what happened was
the story is
what happened was we had a long day today, just doing a lot of stuff, and we couldn't get to record until late.
We didn't start recording until 9:45.
No, it wasn't that late. It was 9 because it's 10:40 now.
Oh, I guess that's probably true. I guess it's probably about 9:15, something like that.
Yeah, so we just finished up recording Practicing Presence, talking about praying scripture, and we were like, dude, it's 10 o'clock. A cocktail might be nice.
Yeah, a little highball.
So we made a cocktail, and we drank it through, or we were drinking it through Practicing Presence. Problem was, it was a whole cocktail. We didn't drink it in a 20-minute episode of Practicing Presence. So we still got some cocktail left while we're fixing to start talking about beer. So
I mean, we can talk about beer and drink vodka sodas.
It's fine. You probably shouldn't do it.
No, it's gonna severely mess with your palate. It's a good thing there's not much happening here flavorly.
There's not. It's vodka, soda, and lime.
Yeah. Vodka you can't really taste, especially when you mix it with soda.
Yep, and then lime.
Really,
and lime's the most pronounced flavor.
But the bitterness of the citric acid, and then from the lime pith, right? And all the essential oils from the lime peel, right? It's just...
So I've got 1 drink left in mine. I think Clayton is finishing his up, or almost.
I got 1 more drink.
Done.
Finito.
I do have some water here, so I'm going to water my palate a little bit.
I can't cleanse my palate. I don't have water. It's fine. We're okay. Anyways.
Alrighty.
I've got a beer I'm super excited about.
Well, let's hear about it.
As a cocktail nerd.
Yeah.
This is very fun for me. So, Cullen, what is my second favorite cocktail?
Well, first favorite is Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Second favorite, guess an old-fashioned.
Bingo.
Okay.
A well-made old-fashioned.
Yep. Do you still use my recipe, or have you changed it?
Oh, no. Mine is very different than yours now.
Okay.
I use completely different bitters than you do now.
Okay.
Anyways. Cullen taught me how to make an old-fashioned, but I have since changed it. St. Arnold Brewing. Hey, St. Arnold. Want to partner up?
Let's do it.
You want to do some sponsorships?
This is 4 straight weeks.
I don't know. We've been hitting them up for a while.
No, 4 straight weeks of featuring their beers.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. We like your beer.
Yeah.
You should like us too, because we support you.
Yeah, straight up.
Let's do a thing. Anyways, St. Arnold. This is from St. Arnold Brewing. Excuse me. It is called the Old Fashioned.
Yeah.
It is a barley wine ale aged in rye whiskey barrels with an orange peel adjunct.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I've never seen that beer.
I was at HEB and I was looking at the beer aisle and like their little singles, and I was just kind of looking, and the label didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't like call out to me.
Yeah.
And then I just old fashioned. I was like, what the hell is that? Right? Like,
yeah.
What the heck is that?
Yeah. I've literally been to St. Arnold's probably 100 times.
Yeah.
I've never seen that beer.
Yeah. I think it's new. Like, I don't know.
It doesn't, I mean.
I don't know.
Yeah.
First time we bottled our English-style barley wine ale and rye whiskey barrels, it reminded us of the famous old-fashioned cocktail. With this new iteration, we added orange peel to lend a bright and zesty counterbalance to the caramel malt, toffee, and dark fruit notes. The rye whiskey barrel aging provides pleasant spices and oak character to the beer. Pour into a glass and enjoy a new classic. No stirring required. I don't have a glass to pour it in. I wish I had a tulip glass to pour it in, but because it would actually probably open up better in a tulip glass.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it would.
It is 12.9 as always, like 12.9 ABV. That's pretty stout, so drink responsibly. So yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty excited about mine. Honestly, this is a category of beer I've never had. A grain or oats like adjuncted IPA.
I thought that was a stout. I didn't realize that was an IPA.
Yeah, no. So it's from Untitled Art Brewing Company, and I guess it's called the Finback. I think that's what it's called, but it's an oat cream IPA. And they put in here that it's version 2. It's 7% ABV. Oh, no, it's Untitled Art with Finback Brewery out of Wisconsin. That's what it is.
So we've had other stuff from Finback, though.
We have. So we've had other beers.
Yeah.
But I have
featured on Pints and Perspectives.
And here's the crazy thing. Honest to God. When I turned 21, 22, I'm 28 now. I got like super into brewing. I was as much into brewing as Clayton is into like whiskey mash bills. Like, I was super into brewing.
Yeah.
I have never in my life had an oat cream IPA.
I've never heard of that before.
I didn't know that existed.
An oat cream, that is
so
weird.
I saw this in the store and I was like, okay, last time we had like something from Finback.
It was always good. It was good. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, we're going to give this a shot because like
oat cream. I legit thought that was like an oat cream stout. And I was like, okay.
Nope. It's IPA.
I saw oat cream and didn't look past that because I was like,
I know
cream,
what this is.
An oat cream stout. Like, it's normal, right?
Yeah.
Like
oat stouts, cream stouts, like oat cream stouts.
Why
whatever.
wouldn't it be normal? Like, and so an oat cream IPA.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
This is about to either be the best beer I've ever had or the worst beer I've ever had. Now, truth is, honest to God, I debated. Clayton and I were doing some cleaning in my garage today. And we found a single bottle of our homebrew.
It's probably best we don't drink that on camera.
Yeah, and I really debated like drinking it on camera, but there were two problems. Number one, I couldn't remember what kind of beer it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like,
it could be the black IPA.
It could be a stout. It could be.
We've never done a stout, but it could be the barrel aged porter that we did.
Oh, that's right. We did a barrel aged porter.
We did a black IPA. We did what was called the caribou slobber,
which is just a brown.
It was
like
just a brown with like a.
So
it was a brown with a nut adjunct, actually.
Yeah. So those are the last 3 beers we brewed. It could have been any of those. I don't know. I wanted to try it, but once again, it was like I don't know how long this has been in my garage. I don't know how many seasons it's been through temperature change, and I was like, it's either going to be the best beer I've ever had or the worst beer I've ever had.
It is a total experiment at this point.
Yeah, hands down.
And I'm not expecting it to be good. I'm not going to lie.
We'll see.
Probably not a good idea to drink it on camera.
Well, and it's also very clearly the one that was bottled last because it's not full.
You know what we should do? We should do... on
like a YouTube short or something?
Or like a YouTube short or just like a special release where we drink it. And it's like, we call it like a Russian roulette episode or something.
Yeah.
And
like
we have a trash can there
out.
just in case we want to barf.
Whatever comes out, comes out. Yeah. Our beer is really good, but no beer is good when it's sat for 2 years in a hot garage in South Texas.
Well, and it goes from freezing temperatures to boiling
hot temperature. Yeah,
right,
like that amount of temperature change is never good for any kind of carbonated drink.
Yeah, if it's even carbonated anymore based on that, right? Like,
correct. Yeah,
it may have lost all its fizz. Like we have no idea.
Yeah,
we have no idea what's going to happen.
Do not know. So
I mean, with whiskey,
it'd be fine.
Those large temperature changes are actually a good thing,
right? It'd be fine.
Yeah,
but for beer, carbonated. Fermented? No.
Even for wine, though, that's not a good thing.
No, it's never a good thing for carbonated, fermented, anything.
But for whiskey, it's a good thing.
It's fine.
It opens up the barrel and the whiskey soaks in and the heat. And then when it gets cold, it pushes all the whiskey back out. And it's fantastic.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you think Scotch is so good? But anyways.
Well, Scotch, it doesn't get hot enough in Scotland.
Well,
that's why it's so
much
light
humidity,
in color.
though. There's so much humidity that you get that expansion and contraction just in general from.
We're not going to get into a debate about whiskey.
Yes. All right, let's do this.
Let's drink beer. Cheers, bud. What the?
Cheers. Ooh. I'm just smelling it. Holy mess.
I need to go in for round 2. Hold on.
Oh, my God. Dude. That may be the best beer I've ever had.
Can I have a sip?
Yes, you may. Because you're my brother, and I love you. I literally,
smells fantastic.
There's like 90% of me that wants to go, Joey doesn't share food. But like, it is like, that may be the best beer I've ever had.
It is way more floral than I expected.
Well, but like, just taste it. Like, you just don't know.
Whoa, I don't like that.
You don't like that? Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Finback. I don't like that. It's like, it legitimately reminded me of a pendulum swing. Like, ooh, no, I got to get this taste out of my mouth. I'm sorry. I do not like that.
Oh my God, no. It's like right up front, it's like oat cream, and then it's like a quick transition into IPA. I love it. Everything about it. Love it.
Finback, I have loved every other one of your beers that I've tried, and I've tried a few at this point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that tastes like cough syrup on the back end.
No.
It just leaves this
so good.
It leaves this lingering cough syrup.
Don't listen to this guy. So good.
Yeah, this is why palates are subjective.
That is very true.
Because like for me, what hit me first was the hops, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But then right behind it was this kind of artificial vanilla flavor, like this metallic vanilla.
Yeah.
That you find in like Jim Beam.
Like the cream flavor.
Yeah. And then it just kind of developed into this weird like ethanol kind of like cough syrup. I did not like that.
Nope. So good.
So what's happening here? I really enjoy this beer. I enjoy it a lot. I'm not going to lie, though. In St. Arnold, I love you guys to death. This does not remind me of an old-fashioned.
No? Is it good, though?
Yeah, it's delicious. I get the orange peel, and I pick up on the floral eucalyptus notes from the rye barrel. But honestly, it just tastes like barley wine.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, let's talk some theology since we're 15 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
What did the St. Arnold's cap say? Hop to it.
Hey. Yeah, so if you didn't know, anytime you buy a St. Arnold's beer in a bottle, the bottom of the cap has like a catchy one-liner on it. Mm-hmm. All right, so alongside our summer series on women,
Yeah, over on a closer look and
on a closer look in our
Cullen
stories.
Yeah.
I want to do a little bit on the theology side about women in ministry on PMP.
And I think that this is very needed. So we should actually title this summer. We should start calling it the Summer of Women. Right?
I'm okay with that.
Because
push that crap on social, man.
Yeah, I will, because what is that? 3 out of 5 areas of content. I don't know what the percentage of that is, but that's the majority.
Well, 3 out of 5 would be 60%.
60%. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
If all things were equal, it'd be 60%.
Okay, fair enough.
Clayton wasn't great at math.
I barely passed my college algebra class. I was happy to get a 72.
Yeah, Clayton's like, yeah, this is fine.
No, so 60% of our content right now is about women.
Through the summer, 60%. If all things are held equal, 60% will be about women. Through the summer,
and so close. I think that this is very needed in the idea that we're getting your stories about women, and encouraging women, and the Support Ladies series of your stories, right? Then expounded on deeper on a closer look, and we start looking at more of the hermeneutical side of it. And now we really actually should take a look at the theological implications here, right?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do here. So the other ones, once again, we're coming out of our series on narrative theology. Support Ladies is 100% given over to a narrative theology perspective.
100%.
A closer look, 100% given over to a narrative theology perspective.
Although that's how we do all of our content, really, that's biblically based. Or at least
that's
most
biblically based.
That's biblically based.
Yes, that's biblically based. It's 100% narratival in its theological position. That is true. That's not the only way that I do theology.
No. It can't be the only way you do theology.
Well, if you only do narrative theology,
you have a lot of gaps.
Yeah, that's the deal. You just have so many gaps. And it's like, well, what kind of sane person can go through life with that many gaps in their theology? None. So you can't only do narrative. But narrative just seems to be a better gap, like a better bridge point between biblical theology and systematic theology. And you can do those, and then you can pick and choose what you need to from either side. Narrative theology, for me, seems to be much more of a middle point if you're faithful to the text. And so those two areas of content are fully given over to narrative theology, and unashamedly so. This section, what I want to do, because there's not going to be a single week, or there's not going to be a single moment throughout the Support Lady series in stories or in a closer look that doesn't look at a specific character in the biblical narrative.
Right.
So I'm not going to tackle what Paul says in the Timothy epistle. So I'm not going to tackle when he says for women to be silent in 1 Corinthians. I'm not going to look at any of those because it's narrative. We're going to look at that here. And we're going to look at the theological implications of if you oppress women. We're going to look at the theological implications of if you affirm women. We're going to look at the theological implications of if you are egalitarian. We're going to look at the theological implications of if you're complementarian. We're going to look at all of them. And from a very macro level, we're going to look at specific biblical passages like the Timothy stuff. We're going to look at the whole gambit of
women in Scripture.
Of women, the theological implications of what you do with women in the ministry.
Yeah.
Because it's no secret. I'm very open about it. I am 100% affirming of women in any role in the church.
Yeah.
I got zero qualms. In fact, it's one of our goals at WellHouse that by year 5 of WellHouse's existence. So WellHouse officially came into existence August 1st of 2020. And we had our first gathering September 29th, I think.
September 27th.
27th. But So at year 5, it's one of the goals at WellHouse that more than 51% of our staff is women.
Yep. And that's a bit of an equity piece. Like, if I can get on a social work soapbox here, women aren't allowed to work in the church the way that they want to, right? A lot of them.
Or that they should be.
Or that they should be allowed to, right? Like,
correct.
And so, because there is a surplus of women that want to serve vocationally in the church and serve in pastoral roles, we want to give them a space to do that, because we do see your value, ladies, right?
Yep, 100%.
And we want to give you a space to do that. So it's a little bit of an equity piece.
Yeah.
That we're like, guys, we know that you can find jobs other places, right?
Yeah, that's the deal. It sucks. And I've told some of my best friends this. I'm like, dude, it sucks to be a dude and want to work at WellHouse. Now, there are some guys that I've already went to and been like, dude, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, we want you on staff.
Like, you're going to be on my staff.
And I know you're listening to this, and I know that
you know
who you are.
Like,
we want you.
You're going to be on my staff. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he's probably laughing right now.
But I have told other friends, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, WellHouse is not the place for you.
Yeah.
There are a ton of people that will hire you.
Yep.
They won't hire women.
No.
And so, yeah, it sucks to be a dude and want to work at WellHouse. Honest to God, I'm just very open about it. Like, ladies are going to get first preference here.
What is the idea of equity, though? Right. It is the idea of, honestly,
it's not that everyone runs the same speed.
No. That would be equality.
Correct.
Right. Equity is the idea that not everybody runs at the same speed.
And so the goal of equity is that everyone get to the finish line at the same time.
Man, I wish we could do this. We could do it for YouTube, but I don't want to force that editing on you. But there's an image out there. You can just Google equity and like look through the Google images, and you'll find it. There is a kind of like a 3-image picture. One image is where everyone is standing on a single box trying to watch like a baseball game or something.
Okay.
And there's like a guy, I don't know, for math's sake, that's 6'1", and there's a guy who's like, or a kid that's probably like 5'3", and then there's a little
average
kid.
height.
Then there's a kid who can't even see over the fence, and they're all standing on the same soapbox. Right?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Then there's a picture of the grown man standing on the biggest box.
Mm.
And then the middle box is given to the middle guy, and the smallest box is given to the little kid, right? Then the equity picture
is the inverted.
The inverse.
The tall guy stands on the smallest box, the middle guy stands on the middle box, and the short guy stands on the tallest box.
That is equity.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to create here for women.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to give them the biggest box.
Yeah.
Because they need it.
That's the deal.
They want to work in the church, and we want to give them the space to do that because they are valuable to the church.
That's the deal. And that's the other thing. I think women are a bit weird when they're fighting for something so hard and then it's offered to them like just freely. Mm-hmm. They're almost like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Since WellHouse's existence, WellHouse has not been in existence for a full year yet. Mm-mm. 2 different women have turned me down from job offers.
Wow.
Just because
I only know of one of them. I don't know about the other one.
Yeah, so it just one of the the other one was an editor.
Mm.
So not really a pastoral kind of position,
no.
but
that kind of makes sense then.
But she was in seminary.
Oh.
So but it was like, I don't know. I wanted to give space for these women that I saw potential in, And I prayed about it, and I didn't have like any kind of fears or any negative emotions. And so I was like, okay, like I'm going to give space for these ladies to like pursue their gifts. And one of them was like a really good editor. And I was like, hey, we could use an editor. Yeah. Like
we put out a lot of content.
I'm like, girl, I spend like 25 hours a week editing.
Yeah.
And that's at base value.
Yeah.
Like I spent a lot of time valuing. Like I could use an editor. And then I had another lady. Honestly, what I should have told her, I designed a job for her. But what I should have told her is like, design your own job because I want you on staff. And she like, it didn't work. It wasn't a good fit for her at the time. I'm still not done with her yet. She's not listening, so it's okay. She doesn't listen to this podcast. She listens to other ones. But
and we need to say it on the other ones.
Yeah, she's not done.
Because I want her to. Like,
yeah, she's not done.
Based on what you told me, like she's a good fit for her community.
Yeah, she's not done. But yeah, so why does WellHouse want to be that space? Because there are enough churches that will offer men jobs. There are not enough that will offer women jobs.
Yep. Especially in
that's the nicest way I can say it. Is like there just needs to be a place for women.
Yeah.
And theologically, like I don't see any problem. Like just like let the cat out of the bag. Like I don't see any problem.
That's legit what you just did.
Yeah.
It's like
there was no buildup.
Look, you know me. You all know me. You know I don't mince words. I try to say things as respectfully as possible.
Yeah.
And I am willing to say that you are entitled to your opinion until it steps on somebody else's rights.
Rights. Yeah.
And that's not original to me. That's somebody else. I can't remember who said it. He's dead now. I know that.
Clayton's a content thief.
I just admitted that it's not mine.
That's okay. I'm a content thief too.
Yeah.
I don't steal from preachers though. I only steal content from one person.
Your preaching mentor?
Nope. I don't steal content from him.
Oh.
I love what he does, but that's why I don't steal from him. I steal Dave Chappelle's content all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's got some good stuff, but so I don't know who said that. I can't remember his name at the moment, but you are entitled to your opinion until it steps on someone else's rights. And I believe that as Americans, specifically Americans, because women don't have these rights in other countries as they should. Women have the right, the legal constitutional right in America to work whatever job they want.
Yeah.
Now, we as Christians historically have not done a very good job of letting them work whatever job they want, especially if it's in the church. We will let them work in the church for free.
Yeah, we will let them volunteer in the church. That's a very polite and gracious way of saying that, Clayton.
It is slave labor.
Yeah, we have literally worked women into the ground for zero pay. Well, even so much that the person we were talking about earlier, the one that I saw so much potential in that I tried to get her to come on staff, she literally did a full-time paid person's job at a church volunteering for free. They hired someone for that position, never asked her to apply, and when they hired the new person, she tried to reintegrate with that person. That person never talked to her.
That is so frustrating. So our grandmother has been...
Our maternal or paternal?
Maternal.
Okay.
Has been working as a children's director.
She retired this year.
Yeah, but she has been doing that
for like
longer than I have been alive.
Has it been longer than you've been alive?
Mm-hmm. Because she did it at another church before.
Oh, yeah. I'm
but
thinking
at this
specifically at this specific church.
It was like 20 years.
Yeah, like almost on.
Never been given a dime.
Yeah, never been paid at all. And there was a season there where she paid for a lot of the stuff.
She did. And
in the children's department, like out of her own budget, like out of her own finances.
that's been a rare occurrence, but
it was early on. Yeah.
And she's been through 4 different pastors.
4 different senior pastors.
4 different senior pastors
through that time
of that same church. Never once been offered a job.
Nope.
Never once been offered a paycheck.
Nope.
She's been doing it for 20 years, and she's finally said, I can't do it anymore.
She's also like...
Well, she's actually in transition.
Yeah, but how old is she? She's like almost 80.
Late 70s.
Yeah, she's like 77, I think. 76.
Something like that.
Yeah.
76, 77. I wanted to say 76, but
yeah,
76. I think she turned 77 this year.
Yeah.
So it's time for her to...
Yeah, it's absolutely time.
Start relaxing.
Like 20 years and never offered a job.
20 years, never offered a job, never offered a dime. Has loved 2 generations of kids that have come in and out of that church.
Yeah, legit 2 generations of kids, yeah.
And loved each one of them to death.
Yeah. And it was a big kids department.
Well, in the beginning it wasn't. She grew
it, yeah. To at one point, like, VBS is rocking over 100 kids.
So I worked VBS there for all of my middle school and all of my high school every summer. And every year until the last couple of years that I did it, it got bigger and bigger
and bigger
and bigger. That is due to her.
Well, and they had a true bus ministry.
They did. They went and picked kids up from their homes because they come from a low income area.
Yeah.
And transportation was hard.
Yeah.
Parents couldn't get their kids to the church, but they wanted their kids to go to church, whether they had to work or whatever the situation was.
Yeah.
They ran a bus.
Yeah.
And they picked kids up from their homes, brought them to the church, dropped them back off. They ran an after school ministry. She didn't do that part, but
no.
They did. She partnered with this other group
that
ran an after school ministry, right? Like, she did a full-time job. She did honestly, a 60-hour week job of a children's pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather say it that way. Of a children's pastor. And never got a dime.
Yeah.
Tell me how that's not slave labor. Tell me how that's not unjust.
Yeah. Well, for me, so the year was, let me get my storyteller voice. The year was, I don't know.
In the year 1965.
I wasn't even born yet.
It was a joke, Cullen. I was trying to get my storyteller voice together.
Yeah.
With my cold.
Yeah.
It works very well.
The year must have been 2014. No, it must have been late 2014 or early 2015. I met a young woman. I say young, she's older than me. She's still young, but she's older than me. Named Melissa Moore. Melissa Moore is by far the smartest, the smartest person I've ever met.
I've never met her.
Yeah.
So
if you don't know, Melissa Moore is Beth Moore's daughter. We did grad school together. She was in a different program. She was in the Mabel program at HBU, the Master of Arts in Biblical Languages. She already had 2 graduate degrees before that one.
Yeah.
That was her 3rd graduate degree. And she'd already entered and left a PhD program. Like, hands down, Melissa Moore is the smartest person I've ever met. She worked for her mom.
Yeah.
She worked for Beth. She still works for Beth. She's the, research assistant or something like that to Beth. Now I think she's co-authored. They just co-authored together a Bible study on the book of Galatians.
Hey, go buy it.
Go buy that. First of all, I have looked at it. It is good.
Go buy it.
Melissa and I have worked together on some different projects. We've talked a lot. We've spent quite a bit of time together. Melissa is a genius.
Yeah.
Legit. She is one of the only people I know and this is no joke, I know a lot of seminary professors. Melissa Moore is one of the only people I know that can pick up both a Hebrew Old Testament and a Greek New Testament and read it as well as I read my English Bible.
That's fantastic.
She is hands down one of the smartest people I know. She works for her mom. She got 3 graduate degrees, not to mention an undergraduate degree in this field.
Is that because it's a choice, or is that because she couldn't find a job in a church somewhere?
Yes.
So both?
Yes.
Okay. I do want, since you brought Beth Moore up, I wanted to go there.
So I wanted to talk about Beth too, and maybe we need to, because we are like 35 minutes into this episode.
We always go long on this. We just need to accept that this happens.
I know, but we drink full beers, and like we're not even halfway through. Like it's just there's more time when you're drinking a beer.
Yeah, but like since we're on the path of Beth, how many books has that woman written?
Oh my God,
Countless.
40.
So many. Right, and
which Melissa was basically a ghostwriter on a lot of those.
Okay,
because she was doing all the research. She was giving Beth her recommended resources and all kinds of stuff. Like,
but that's also not including the other Bible studies and things that she's done. Right, that's just books. Right.
Oh no, I'm including Bible studies.
Oh, you are including
probably
Bible studies.
40 publications.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah,
and what does our tradition typically hand to women, small groups, Sunday school classes, whatever?
Booklets. Or Beth Moore studies.
Beth Moore studies.
Yeah.
Yet, even though men could learn a lot and take a lot out of her studies, I've done one of her studies.
I've done multiple of her studies.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they're bad.
Yeah, like we could learn, as men, we could learn so much from that.
Yeah.
But because she's a woman, right, that means that we can't learn from her? Because Paul supposedly stated in this one letter that, like, he doesn't permit women to have authority over a man.
Which is so weird. We're going to talk about that next week. We're going to talk about that.
We have to talk about that next week.
We're going to talk about that text next week because, like, there's just a lot of things going on in that text, and I'm like, bro, like, come on, man.
I can't wait until we talk about that because I was talking about that with somebody else the other day, actually last night, and I went on my like narrative theology kind of rant. I was like, he may have just gotten it wrong. And they're like, whoa.
Excuse me. Or maybe he was just talking to Timothy about Ephesus.
Yeah.
If Paul even wrote that.
Yeah, if Paul even wrote that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Ben Blackwell, when you ask him this question, like, did Paul write the pastorals?
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this before.
What does Ben say?
Ben says that he says that Paul wrote it because church tradition, largely because church tradition has said.
What percentage does Ben say? I'm X% confident that Paul wrote it.
Oh, that I don't know. That I don't know.
51%.
The 2% that brings him over the edge is church tradition.
Is church tradition. If it wasn't for tradition, Ben would be like, I'm out, Paul, I write this. But it's also not lost on me that church tradition says that Paul wrote Hebrews, and he did not.
Well, it's just because we haven't had the information that we do now for as long as, right?
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was Paul. Okay, Paul wrote this, right?
But
now we have hermeneutical things to read.
Yeah. And so I don't know why it was ever given. We got 13 letters of Paul. All of them say I, Paul, except Hebrews. And there are people that still to this day insist that Paul wrote Hebrews.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, just stop it.
Yeah.
He did not. So there is one other lady I want to talk about for a minute. Her name is Barbara Brown Taylor.
Oh.
Barbara Brown Taylor is an Episcopal priest somewhere up north. I don't know. Will you look this up for me, where she's from?
Give me just a second.
I don't exactly know where she's from, but she's an Episcopal priest up north. She's an older lady. I don't know, probably in her late 50s, somewhere around there, maybe early 60s. She is by far, hands down, a top 5 preacher in the world in my book.
Yeah.
She is by far one of the best communicator and storytellers.
She was born in Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay, yeah, so up north somewhere. Where does she pastor now, though?
Don't know. Doesn't say.
Thought she was in a parish in, like, Vermont or something. I don't know. Anyways, but Barbara Brown Taylor, she's another woman. She's
actually not pastoring right now.
She's just writing and speaking? Yeah. Got you. Well,
at least that's what this says.
Barbara Brown Taylor is in that same boat as Beth Moore. How many people would not know the gospel of Jesus without Beth and Barbara?
Oh my gosh.
Countless. I mean, we probably don't know. We probably won't know until we can ask God himself.
Well, between the writings and the speaking engagements and all the things.
The media coverage.
Just
look at how many people Beth reached through her split with the SBC.
Yeah.
So we're not shy about it. We're not belligerent about it, but we're not an SBC church. We're a Baptist church, but we don't have national affiliation with the Southern Baptist Convention because I can't get there with what they've done on issues of women and racism.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get there. I don't want to say it was a fight, because it wasn't a fight in our congregation. Like, it wasn't a fight in our church, but like, I was very adamant that I did not want to be affiliated with the Southern Baptists.
And again, this isn't a shot. This isn't a belligerent
Not
thing.
at all.
It's just because of certain stances, we could not affiliate.
If they would offer retribution for the places they've screwed up,
Sure.
I'd join them. The problem is they won't.
For the places that they have overlooked and made mistakes, right?
No, it's screwed up, because the whole deal with both...
I'm just trying to offer more graceful language.
Well, you can, but I mean, it's literally like the Southern Baptist Convention. A lot of people give them passes for this, that they just don't know Baptist history. But like, the reason the Southern Baptist Convention exists is not because they were more conservative than the Northern Baptist Convention, which is now called the American Baptist Association, the ABA. The reason that the Southern Baptists exist is because they wanted to own slaves. So they left the Northern Baptist Convention and created the Southern Baptist Convention so that they could own slaves. Like, I'm not shy about that's why they exist.
That's not the point of this podcast. It is true that we don't have a national affiliate like that. We are a BGCT church.
We have a state affiliate with the Texas Baptist General Convention of Texas.
However, one of several reasons that we did not align with the Southern Baptist Convention or the ABA is because we wanted to affirm women.
Well, ABA is affirming women.
Okay.
They're not as affirming as I would like them to be, but they are affirming. If you were going to narrow down the ABA, like, so Baylor would be, or Truett would be the BGCT seminary.
Yeah.
The Baptist General Convention of Texas Seminary would be BGCT. Would be Truett. They have HBU, they have other seminaries, but like the premier one is Baylor's.
Yeah.
If you were going to do that same thing for the American Baptist Association or the Northern Baptist Convention, whatever you want to call them, they're the same thing. It would be Northern Seminary.
Okay.
They got Scott McKnight. They got Jeff Holsclaw.
They got
Nijay Gupta.
Those guys are pretty progressive.
Well, yeah. I mean, and Nijay was a fellow scholar at Durham with John Barclay.
Oh, wow.
When Ben was there.
Did not know that.
Like, Ben and Nijay know each other really well.
Did not know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like they've collaborated on like collections of essays together. Like they've co-hosted panels together. Like they know each other very well. Northern is doing crap right.
Yeah.
I almost considered doing a doctoral degree at Northern.
I actually remember that.
Yeah, like Northern is doing stuff right. I love what they are 100% affirming of women. There were just some other things going on with the ABA that I was like, it's just not a good fit for us right now.
Well, and just the general idea of having a national affiliate, we have to fit in these boxes, right? And we want the space to grow as a church and let our theology change and grow as our church grows.
Let our theology progress.
Yeah.
I do believe to some extent in progressive revelation.
Yeah.
And I want that space and capacity for it to progress. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily change or grow.
That's
I think
more
those are semantics of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I want the space for it to progress.
Yeah. And
I just feel like sorry, Clayton, I keep interrupting you.
Fine.
But I feel like in the last 70 years, the Southern Baptist Convention has not progressed at all.
Well, it's been pretty stuck. That's not what this podcast is about.
It's not.
And I'm trying to get us back on track here in the role of women in ministry, right? The reason that we don't have a national affiliate right now is because the SBC, which is largely the Baptist churches in our area, if not exclusively.
Yeah, that's the tradition we grew up in for sure.
Does not affirm women in ministry.
Yes.
And we just could not get on board with that.
That was a deal breaker for me.
And I have had a conversation with Cullen about this. I haven't mentioned it on the podcast for a very specific reason, but I'm about to mention it now. When I said earlier that I am okay to say that you are entitled to your opinion, I meant that. Until
I didn't.
No. You are entitled to your opinion until it steps on someone else's rights.
Yeah.
I got into a large debate with an individual that had to deal with another thing that I don't want to talk about in this podcast.
Gotcha.
It also included women.
Yeah.
And I will admit that he stuck to his narrative in every way. I was very proud of him because even though he does not affirm women in ministry, he did not, he has the more complementarian view of marriage.
Yeah.
Rather than the egalitarian view of marriage.
Yeah.
He stuck to his narrative and that sex is for procreation, not for pleasure or worship or anything. Therefore, it does not use contraceptives. And I was like, at least you stick to your narrative. At least you stick to your narrative. However, I firmly disagree.
Podcast listeners, you cannot see my face right now. YouTube people, you can. I'm appalled.
It is a very primitive view. And if you're listening, you know who you are. This isn't meant to call you out. This isn't meant to make you feel bad. I'm just saying that there are lots of views on this, and that I am willing to actively, honestly say, I disagree, and I think that you're wrong. And he was willing to tell me that I was wrong too, and that's fine.
Most of the time, those people are. Honestly, I don't know. This is not true in the conversation of women. The more liberal you are, quote unquote, I hate to use political terms for these kinds of things, but that's the one everybody knows. The more progressive
everything
you
is
are,
politicized now.
Yeah, the more progressive you are, the less you care about these conversations.
That's true.
Except when it comes to women.
Yeah.
Or like you said, until it steps on somebody else. Yeah. You just, like, in the same way, the more liberal you are theologically, the less you feel like, on a macro level, this is not exclusive, the less you feel like you have to have all the answers.
Yeah, and I mean, and that comes from us sitting at a point of looking at the Bible narratively, right? We are very comfortable with having gaps narratively, but like,
well, post-liberals don't, like, that's the whole thing. Post-liberals don't have to have all the answers. That's fundamental. It's foundationalist epistemology. Like,
yeah.
Post-liberals don't have to have those answers.
No,
that's that's literally the thing.
Well, because we look at, just for an example, it's deep cuts, soteriology, right? We look at the Jacob and Esau story, and it mentioned in
Romans 8
and Romans 9.
9, sorry, yeah, you're right.
And we also look at Pharaoh. God hardened Pharaoh's heart, right? And we look at that, and we also we recognize, hey, that's not free will, right? And we can say, we don't know what's going on here, right?
Well, the Jacob and Esau thing.
Do you think you have a pretty good idea?
Yeah, it's all about who Esau married.
Right. I'm just saying,
narratively, not spiritually, but narratively, it's about who Esau married.
Paul spiritualizes it, right? In Romans 9.
Oh, that's no doubt. But it's still about who he married.
Sure, but like Paul still spiritualizes it.
Agreed.
Jacob, he loved, and Esau, he hated, right? Like,
agreed.
And so like we're comfortable looking at that and saying we don't have the answers.
Yeah.
We don't know what Paul was trying to say here. We don't know what God was doing overall here.
Yeah.
We're pretty confident in a like theosis kind of stance rather than in a reformed or Arminian soteriological stance. But we're comfortable looking at that and saying, we don't know. There is one thing that I will say that I know from the narrative of Scripture. Women are supposed to have a role. They are given a role by Paul.
Here's the thing I know.
And by Jesus. Let's just throw that out there.
If there's one thing I know about the narrative of Scripture, it's that in Genesis 1, God made them in his image, male and female, he created them. And in his creation of them, male and female, throughout that first chapter, 7 times, a perfect expression of perfection. God said it was good. At the end of the 6th day, when he creates them male and female, breathing in his own life into them each time, at the end of that day, God said, and it was good. There is literally nothing different about man and woman other than the way in which they do complement each other, not to negate their equality or their equity.
Yeah.
But only to say...
I would say in creation it was equality.
Agreed.
It was only after power structures were created that equity was needed.
Well, I don't know. Well, actually, I think that's Paul coming into my head. I think that's Paul in the Timothy epistles where she's the weaker vessel. So I would agree with you. I do think it's genuine equality. Yeah. But what I do know and what I'm confident in is that gender is not the thing that decides the work of God. God and the people of God decide the way in which the experience of the kingdom of God is enacted in the world.